All right, going live now. Okay, going live. We are live. Supposedly. Yeah, you're live. It says you're live. Hey, quiet on set back there.
Hey,
welcome. This is a not as highly produced podcast as the last ones. No opening skits or anything. Thank you for tuning in. This is another SpenniCast, number 6. Today we're here with Jon Russell. He's a radio personality, a classic rock radio personality. What is it?
Album rock, yeah.
Album rock. So what's
progressive rock?
What's the difference between classic rock and album rock?
Well, classic rock is now just a really tight-listed format these days.
Okay.
Album rock we still encompass a lot. When I was doing it, we still encompassed a lot of new music as well.
Okay, cool. Album rock radio personality through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s.
To infinity and beyond.
Yeah, he's eternally a radio personality. And I'm here interviewing him to ask him some pointers about how to interview people, because if you've been watching some of these podcasts, it doesn't always go exactly as planned. People get upset about various things. We even had our own little encounter. I was trying to set him up on this microphone earlier, and he got all insulted. And so why didn't you
take your little toy and go home?
Yeah. Well, thank you for providing some free equipment for this one. It makes us look a lot better production quality. I guess let's start out. If you want to give a little background, how you got into the radio album rock personality business, the DJing, and
how I got into it. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I got drunk and signed up for radio one night, and the rest is history.
Hey, cheers.
No,
right
no, I don't. God, this is going to get so introspective. But anyway, let me see. I guess I was 22 years old, and I decided I can't do anything else. Maybe I should try that. I think I can do that, and so I did, and started working at small town radio stations just to get experience, and then moved on up.
Now, did you always have
the big town? Anyway,
did you always have a voice like that, or is that something they give you, or they train you?
No, they hand them out at radio school.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
No, it is what it is, and it's been good to me over the years.
Okay, yeah.
that it is what it is.
Right on. So what's one of the strangest interviews you've ever had as an interviewer? Did anything ever get weird? Because I know you're on a lot of these showbiz types. You never know what's gonna.
Nothing really got weird because I wasn't asking really personal questions of people. I was a music guy. I'm into the music. I want to help promote. If I like their music, I'm going to, of course, say great things about it and talk about that with them, get more in depth about what they're all about and how they write and things like that. But so I wasn't really like a shock jock.
Okay, so you wouldn't ask him.
Who would slam some weird question in there from.
You wouldn't be like how's the groupie situation out there or something. You wouldn't say anything like that, or would you?
I might have. That one's because that's kind of a common theme, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so how's as a radio personality, how's the groupie situation for you?
A radio personality. Well, there wasn't any. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I don't have any stories.
Maybe I should get into a different line of work. I've been trying to get these interviews going. Really,
there wasn't any. I thought there might be. We were trying to pretend we were rock stars, but there wasn't any.
So did video really kill the radio star?
No.
So what was that song?
No.
What was the point of that?
It was fun. It was the beginning of MTV. And was that the first video they played? I think video killed the radio star. Not that they were trying to kill us, but because music at that time in the 80s, 1980, they still needed radio stations to play their music, to get the word out, to get it sold, yada yada yada. And now there's so many avenues to get your music, and it's all very different. And for a lot of people, the bottom has fallen out,
Yeah. What do
Well,
you
a
mean?
lot of, like, mid-level people in record companies and things like that, they're not necessary anymore. Because they used to be the ones who would call the radio stations and, try to get the music on the radio, which was still very important at the time.
Wow. So yeah, what does it look like now? It's all just completely.
I'm not sure what it looks like now because I'm not in it, but I just know, just from my own thing, I don't. There's no particular radio station that I listen to or look forward to listening to, or it's just it's just because I know if I want to research something and find out about an artist somewhere, I can go get the MP3 of their music right from Amazon or whatever, and I don't need radio. Although I have to say it's cool. There are some internet radio stations that play a good mix of music, and sometimes you'll still. That was the way in the old days. We would pick up on new music and go, "Oh wow, what was that they just played?" And
yeah.
So that still can happen, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, it got so watered down in the sense that there were so many stations popping up in all kinds of towns and cities. It used to be there were just a few, and you would have this competition between one rock station against the other rock station across town. But that went away when large companies scooped up all the radio stations, and they could own the same, or they could own 2 or 3 different rock stations in one market. It's under that one company. So if you lose your job at one rock station, you can't go to work at the other one because it's the same company. They won't want you.
Oh wow, that's great. So when did that start happening? Like the 80s?
No, more in the 90s, late 90s, mid to late 90s. Well, it was right after Clinton signed the the Telecommunications Act, which allowed companies to own more than just. There was a limited number of stations you could have in one market, one TV, one radio, AM and FM. And then it was opened up like, you can have all that you want. And so they just scooped them all.
Monopoly kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it disrupted a lot of people's lives at the time because it's an insecure business to begin with. But when you have to scramble and, there's not that different company to go work to across town.
That's crazy. So back in the day, but before that, you said there would be like competing radio stations like on the other side of town. I just like visualized you guys going around like doing pranks on each other and stuff. Was that like a thing that would happen? Did you ever get like into like a personal kind of vendettas, like street gangs, but for the like street radio gangs?
Not really. I mean, there were there's promotional things that would happen. Like you would try to be the one who could get the first interview with the artist that's coming to town and having a concert, and you'd like to be the station that would sponsor that show, would get your name on the poster and everything. So there was a lot of jockeying for position and people pushing back and forth about it. But there wasn't a lot of terrible pranks or anything that I recall.
Okay, I do remember once. You might not want to tell this story, and I don't know if you were involved, or I don't know if it was you or if it was before you worked. So someone gave a record executive a bunch of edibles or something, and then like
no, it was I was a jock on staff at a radio station where there was another jock on staff at the radio station who somebody had brought in a plate of cookies for him, and they were cosmic cookies, and so the general manager and I think the sales manager of the station just stopped in to say hi to the guy while he was out here. And, oh, look at these cookies. Can we have one? Sure. So they go and they eat those cookies, and they don't do that. They don't know anything.
They're suit guys.
Yeah, they don't know anything about it. And they got really buzzed and I think unfortunately the guy later lost his job. The guy who had the cookies, even though it really wasn't his fault. Somebody gave them to him. But also. One of the other guys on staff, and the programming staff, the program director, they called him up and said, what do we do? We just ate some cookies that we, aren't quite sure about. And he just said, I don't know, get some headphones and a Jimi Hendrix record and write it out. Have a good time. See
That's
ya.
some sage wisdom. That's some solid advice right there.
Yeah.
Anytime you go too far with the edibles. headphones, Hendrix or Beatles or something. You know, tap out, float on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it wasn't. Was that kind of a rare occurrence, or was there a lot of like drug culture stuff going on in the radio business
kind
back
of
in those days? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was, you know,
there was a time. There was one time that I almost got fired because I was the program director. I think at the time, maybe I was the assistant PD. Anyway, our station was hosting Neil Young on a live satellite radio interview show. It was called Rockline. We were in San Francisco, but the head of the narrator, the host, was in Los Angeles, and so we had Neil into our studio to hook up by satellite with him, and he was, you know. So they're waiting around for the interview to start or the show to start, and he and his manager are in the production studio where they were going to be sitting at the mic and talking, and in the hallway I could smell this this heavy smell of some you know, like Northern California Humboldt green. And I thought, oh shoot, what's going on? And I could see them, and Neil and his manager, they were passing the joint back and forth. And I thought, oh man, who's going to be the one to go in and tell Neil, you don't do that here. Anyway, there was a guy, we were on the 32nd floor of a building, and on the other half of the floor was the AM news station. We were the FM rock station. So this news guy comes down there and he goes, you know, there's about 60% recirculation of the air in this, and we can smell that. And I go, you know, it wasn't me. It was Neil. Anyway, I think I survived that, but I think it was a bad mark on my.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Neil.
Wow.
It was great having you, though. Hey, it was good to see you that day.
Yeah. So what?
We're talking 80s, mid 80s.
So what were some of your favorite? Who were some of your favorite people that you interviewed through the years? Whether it was like a great interview or just like an interesting artist or someone that you enjoyed their music. I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed a lot of them, but if you had any favorite,
you know, every one. But well, okay.
I mean, who were some? So you got Neil Young. You did Robert Plant too, right?
Yeah, Robert Plant. I did a couple of times, once on the phone and a couple of times in person, and you know, that's those are the ones that make you sweat. Like, oh shoot.
Well, it's like I'm sweating right now.
10 minutes and I got to talk to Robert Plant. And then,
you know, I've just been interviewing people, like my coworkers at the carpet store up in Springfield. I'm down. By the way, we're down here in Los Angeles right now, portable setup. But yeah, normally in Springfield, you know, I work at this carpet store where we sell carpets to people. That's what I do for a living. And so I've just been interviewing my coworkers from there. So that it hasn't been. But here, you know, I've got the kind of the sweaty palms, the clammy hands, whatever. I don't know. I'm a little shaky because, you know, it's like I'm 1 degree from all these rock stars, you know.
Oh, please. Give me a break. Anyway, yeah, okay, some of the favorites. Of course, Pete Townsend. You know, Lyle Lovett. He was great. I don't know. God, there's been quite a few. Jackson Browne a couple of times. Alice Cooper. You know, Melissa Etheridge, Sting. And the list goes on.
Yeah. So what? So the Neil Young thing was probably like one of the strangest things that happened to you when doing an interview, or did anyone ever walk out?
Well, I didn't do the interview, but you know, he was there using our studios for the interview program. But yeah, that was probably about this one of the strangest things. I can't really think of anything else that was bizarre other than, you know, sometimes you get people in who. And it kind of pisses you off because, you know, they don't talk. They don't want to talk. And it's like, God, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. But, you know, this is your job. You're coming in here and...
It's your marketing, your publicity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey. And a couple of people had an attitude. And I was just put off by it. And the whole thing went downhill. And I said, hey, thanks for stopping by. And but I'm not going to say who that was.
Oh, come on. Give us a little hint. Name starts with...
with a letter. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So we know it's not Elon Musk's kid or whatever.
No.
Isn't that like THX 133.8 or something? I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Elon Musk's kid has a band?
No, he has.
Oh.
You were talking about the name starts with a letter. I thought I feel like I heard something that he named his kid with a bunch of weird numbers in it or something.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really totally up on it, but anyways, yeah. So no one's ever like stormed out of an interview with you or had any kind of issues.
No, sometimes it was hard to get them to leave. No, because I don't know. It was. I've never had anybody get upset with an interview. I had my first live interview ever was kind of scary because she wasn't upset and wanted to leave. She just was a little upset. It was Bonnie Raitt, and it was 1979. She had a record out called The Glow, and this was in Sacramento, and she came into the studio. It was the first time. And I was still, just a few years into being in the business. First time I got to interview someone live on the air. And so we're talking about Little Feat, the band Little Feat. And she was a close friend of Lowell George, who was the main guy in Little Feat, but had just passed away a few months before at a young age from a heart attack. And it was difficult, And it came up. And she started to tear up, and I thought, oh great. Shit. My first live interview, and I'm making her cry.
That's great content.
Yeah.
You're making great content for the station, John.
Who am I? Oprah? Who wasn't even around then. Excuse me. But anyway, that was a kind of a scary moment in the sense that my first live thing, I was like, oh no.
Wow.
But she was great. She was a wonderful, wonderful person to talk to. And never talked to me after that.
Damn, you made an impression.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes real stuff comes up. It's it's real out here. It's heavy. Life is heavy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into your personal life, but I do know. So you had a kid with a fan or something. A radio fan that came in, that won a contest, came into your station, and then you guys got married and had a kid.
No.
That never happened?
No.
Wow.
I don't have any kids.
Dad.
Oh, well, I mean, besides you.
Oh, that's what I was trying to make. I was trying to be cute. Wow. So I guess I'm dead to my, dead to my dad. That's cool. Moving on. Clarence, well, that's what I was going to get to, is that Clarence from East Street Band, you predicted, I guess, spoiler alert, you predicted the kid's gender.
Yes.
Didn't that happen during or after an interview or something?
Yeah, and I didn't do the interview, it was another guy, but he came into the station, and we walked into the studio to say hello, and he took one look at your mom and said, "That's a boy." I guess because, I don't know, it was a little higher than normal or something. I don't know.
Wow.
And he was a father of a couple of boys at that point. And that's a boy.
Yeah. Shout out to Clarence, great saxophone player.
Yeah,
R.I.P. When did he pass away? A couple years ago?
Oh, no, it's been, wow.
Like
it's been about 9 years.
9 years?
Yeah,
wow.
Because we got to see Bruce a couple of times in 2012. And his nephew, Jake Clemens, was in for him on saxophone. And he was great. He is great.
Now, did you ever interview Bruce Springsteen?
No, never got the chance to do that. I did talk to him once. Probably 84-ish or so. And, Stephen Van Zandt. What's his name?
Yeah, from The Sopranos. Silvio.
Yeah, Silvio Dante, right?
Yeah.
So he was the lead guitarist in Bruce's band, but he had a side project, an album out with the Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul. And they were playing at a nightclub near the station where we're in San Francisco. So, oh great, let's go see them. And there was a record company lady there who was on the label who handles Little Steven's label, EMI Records. And she knew I was a huge Bruce fan. And I'm standing back, back of the crowd, we're watching the show. And she comes over to me and whispers in my ear, "He's here."
That's what she sounded like?
Yeah. He's here. And no. And I thought, oh my God. So there, in this particular club, there was it was downstairs where the dressing rooms were and the little lounge area for the band to hang out in. And so she took me and my promotions director down there, a lady named Kathy Page, who was from Massapequa, New York, and, had a thick accent.
Shouts out to Massapequa.
Yeah. And so we go down to the basement in the rec room there next to where the band gets ready, but nobody was down there except for there was Bruce Springsteen's mom, Adele, sitting on the sofa. And Kathy went right over and started talking to her because they both had the same accent. And I'm looking around the room.
That's why she went over. She was like, "Oh yeah, you talk like me." Like,
yeah, hey, what do you know? And, and I'm looking around the room. There's some pinball machines, and off in the corner is Bruce and some kid playing some pinball. And he's there with a motorcycle jacket, motorcycle boots, and Levi's and stuff. It was 1984.
Yeah.
Not very clean shaven at all. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm sure I said something stupid. And he said, "Nice to meet you," and that was it. We didn't have any conversation whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah. When you meet somebody that you had.
Yeah. Well, I almost had the one time I met Snoop Dogg.
Oh.
I didn't want to go up and ask him for a picture because it was like a professional setting. It was when I was doing sound for Trailer Park Boys.
Oh.
And they were on his web show.
Yeah.
But there were probably like 30 or 40 people in this it was a pretty small room for 34 people, a really crowded room, a green screen, a couple of cameras. And they had just been smoking blunts nonstop for like an hour and a half of the taping. The show only ends up being like 10 minutes, but they do a full hour, just multiple blunts. Like they're all super faded. Snoop's, getting super blazed. And after like everyone's packing up, like he's kind of hanging out, like talking to a couple people. And I was like, oh, I got to go say something to him. And I've been obsessed with these interview videos by this guy called Nardwar, who's like this.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, he's like this Canadian. He's got like a high pitched voice, and he's done like multiple interviews with Snoop Dogg where he always references people who have influenced Snoop Dogg early in his career. There's this guy Blowfly, so he always says, "Snoop Dogg, how do you feel about blowflying?" so I went up to him and I said, "Snoop, hey, really don't want to bother you or take up too much of your time. I just want to do a really quick impersonation for you. See if you can guess who it is." And he's like, all right, go. And so I go, "Snoop Dogg, what can you tell me about Blowfly? Can you tell me a bit about Blowfly and how he's influenced your career?" And he just like goes back and goes, "Nardwar." He's like, "Oh shit, he just became Nardwar." I was like, "Hey, big fan of the interview." Then I was just like, and got out of there. But
so you never got a picture?
I didn't get a picture. I got video that I was backstage.
Well, I don't believe you.
You don't have to. The life experience was enriching enough. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. I got someone in the comments that said how straight-faced he was when he said, "I don't have any kids."
You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah. That's true. I feel like
I have an adult.
And you do. Well.
And, yeah.
An adult filmmaker.
Yes.
Wait.
Hey.
Oh, hey, look out. I'll plug my OnlyFans later. Yeah, so back to it, though. I don't know. How do I get better at these interviews? This is the problem I have with these interviews. I guess it would be better if I prepared questions. But this is what I always find.
That does help. Because I've done it always.
Yeah. Sometimes I do. I had like 2 prepared for this, but we got through them in like the first couple minutes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully your subject will be talkative. Usually, when somebody comes in, I know that they're going to have things to say about certain subjects if I just lead them into that. And they can go for minutes. And you're going, yay. And while you're listening to them, you hear them say things. I'm going to ask about that, and you just kind of make mental note when he's done with this little comment. Hey, how about that? And so it helps to be prepared. There are times when I couldn't be, It's like, hey, somebody's coming in 10 minutes. You want to do an interview? Yes, okay. So we don't want to turn it down. Send them in. And they would come in, and I would stammer around.
Yeah.
And not really have couldn't think of anything great to say. And, then you go on the stupid fallback questions of, how's the tour going? And what's your next plan?
Well, that's what I feel like.
When's the next album coming out?
That's what I
feel
like.
And you hear that all the time, and it drives you crazy.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel like. So who else did you talk to? What other crazy stories? It's like, well, I got a couple crazy, but I should. Yeah. But really,
well, you need to prepare more.
Well, that's noted. But also, the reason I brought you on here, I kind of wanted to just freeball it because I wanted to.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I just wanted to improvise, whatever the term is. Yeah. Because I want you to kind of school me on how to be a good, like, how do I not get people to watch? People get so upset about the microphones. They get so mad if they don't have this nice mic where they can get up on it and talk like this. That's just one thing. There's like a number of things. People are very critical, and this is, I'm running like a one-man operation here. I don't have like an intern. I don't have people. I have to go get drinks for them myself. I have to do all the sound checks, and I'm running around. Like, even right now, I'm operating the switchboard while I'm talking to you.
You have a violin, don't you?
I do.
Could you get that out, please, so I can play the violin? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's the thing. This is literally like, of the things to be complaining about. Like, we're literally possibly on the verge of re-electing a fascist in America. I guess we shouldn't get political on here. The last thing you want to do is get political on the internet.
Oh God,
that's one thing.
Nobody ever does that.
Never say anything remotely political on the internet.
Yeah,
especially if it's about all the small dick energy that's gonna be pushed into this election. Yeah. See, we like to have fun here. So, what are you drinking on there?
Ice water.
No, it's not. Now, originally you said we were going to be doing bourbon tasting on this thing, but the only thing we have to drink here is Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd have other drinks, but.
Well, yeah. No, I don't know. This is. Yeah, I like it, and that's what I have. Sorry, I don't have any actual heavy-duty bourbons.
I thought you were like a Buffalo Trace.
I love Buffalo Trace. This is the problem. I like it all. Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that it's a problem. No, this is not a problem.
That's exactly what someone with a problem would say.
Yes. Buffalo Trace. What else is? Oh, Bullet.
Bullet's good. See, I had my coworker in the other day, and he's actually a hitman. Although I'm not supposed to say that. He's he helps out with favors. He's a good favor guy. And he was frankly appalled that I had bought Jack Daniels, and I was trying to they were on sale, so I was balling on a budget. He loves whiskey is the thing. He loves Bullet. He likes whatever. He's got Four Roses, I think, is the one that he's into right now or something.
There's a ton.
Yeah, but
I haven't checked out because who cares? It's all
I figure you mix it with some Coke.
It's all about the same.
Yeah, you mix it with some Coke or some 7-Up.
Yeah, I like drinking it straight and then chasing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen you chase it with beer, don't you?
Beer, ginger ale, diet mug root beer, 7-Up.
Yeah, I mixed mine with the root beer.
A little bit of water, maybe. I don't know. I don't like just doing it by itself. I got to have something else to help wash it down.
Okay. So you're not like a big shot guy. You're not like shots.
Well, I do. That's kind of.
So you take shots. You don't sip it. You shoot it.
I do both.
Wow.
I'm a Renaissance man.
Yes, you are. So So now. See, we're at another one of these moments where it's like, what? Now we're just talking about booze.
Do you think? Is somebody watching in the other room? Do you think? Somebody could be watching, couldn't they?
Someone could be watching in the other room, absolutely. But it would be delayed, and I don't know if she's actually watching. I mean, she's probably reading a book or something.
Yeah, probably.
Why are you like?
No, I just wanted to say hi. Shout out.
Oh yeah. Shout out to anyone who's watching right now. I don't know. Do we have voltaic age?
To anyone.
I think that's. I got
Pardon me, COVID cough. No.
Yeah, was that it? Was that a COVID cough?
No.
I just got my test before I came down here. I got all fresh and clean just for you guys. And now,
thank you.
And now you're coughing all over me,
thank
so
you.
that's great.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Hey, you set me up. You say these things. It sets me up for some kind of thing.
I know, but it's like, okay, do you have to oh look, there's a kid there that has like a bag of Halloween candy. I could totally just like steal it from him. Okay, yeah, you can. Should you still do it?
No.
Why not?
Rather drop a couple of razor blades in the... No,
Jesus Christ.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yo.
You know, the worst things...
You're gonna get us banned from the internet for this, talking about razors and kids stealing candy.
Well, don't go on about it.
I'm not your
son. It
son.
gets dropped in, and then you let it go.
No,
and then you go by.
I'm gonna fixate on it. See this? Okay, so is that like an interview
That's
tactic?
when you get in trouble.
But I feel like when you get onto something interesting and controversial, and you want to keep prying at it, you know? And then it makes for interesting content.
Nothing really interesting or controversial came up in most of the interviews because that's not what I was going for. I wasn't trying to be controversial. Just trying to be, excuse me, informative. For people who dig the artist and the music.
Right on, right on. So we got someone says no earlier. I think that. Oh, it's not someone I know from college. Well, who's Voltaic Explorer is the person I know from college. I don't know who Voltaic is. I'll look you up afterwards, whoever you are. We got a mystery person from my past is in the comments here.
Well, and would they comment?
Well, they liked how straight faced you were. Like I don't have any kids. And then they said that they know me from earlier in college. I think they have a similar screen name to someone that also has that screen name that I know from college. But anyways, hey, so we've been going for 30 minutes. We might, I don't know if you want to keep it going. I'm happy to keep it going. I really don't feel like my question has been answered, which is like my big question, which is how do I get people to not storm out of the interview?
Well, I maybe cannot tell you because I've never had anybody storm out of the interview.
No, that's exactly
why it didn't happen on a regular basis. So I don't know how I would have prevented it because it never happened.
Is it something like about my personality? Is it like am I just a toxic person? Like what is this? Like why I'm pouring my
I don't know. Maybe it's a little pandemic fear.
It's not. It has nothing to do. They come in there. They're fine.
They're fine.
But then they just whatever. Yeah, I guess people are sensitive right now. That is something I have noticed. People do. People are snappy.
They might think I've been in an enclosed room for long enough.
Yeah.
Out of here.
That's true. No one's ever presented it that way, but now that you bring that up...
Were you asking tough questions?
Okay.
That they didn't want to answer? Like, get up and walk out on Leslie Stahl?
Oh, yeah. That was... See, that's the whole thing. Maybe it's just... Maybe people are feeling they want to be presidential. And that's what presidential is now, is being whiny, standing up.
Yeah, it's being a whiny-ass bitch.
Yeah, storming out of the interview. I think it could be. I think that there could be something to that, like because it is. It's all we are subtly influenced, but whether you agree with somebody or not. Yeah. And I feel like probably unanimously the people I've had on do not like him. But the fact that kind of behavior is like being more mainstream. I mean, that's always been kind of a part of American culture in some way, though. I feel like
in a way,
I don't know.
Rudeness is American.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, what do you thought? I wanted to shift gears real quick and talking about American culture a little bit and the radio business and how things kind of changed. I've always kind of had this theory because I listen to music from like the '60s and '70s. Obviously I wasn't around then, but there is like just from consuming media from that time. It seems like it was a lot more of like a psychedelic and like cannabis and like peace and love and all this stuff. And then like the 80s was when there was a lot of like cocaine and stuff like that. And do you feel like the cultural shift in the drug, what was like the acceptable drug, also was that like a cause or an effect of like the change of just the mentality that
I think rock and roll radio caused all the drug problems we've had in every different decade. It's all because of rock and roll radio.
Everything?
Everything.
Wow.
Nobody would have ever smoked pot unless they'd heard about it on rock and roll radio.
Right on.
Or cocaine.
Sorry. So we got another question here from the Peanut Gallery. Hold on.
It's all our fault.
May I
sorry.
ask Jon something?
May I ask Jon something
if it's ever happened to him? how do you walk things back on track if you're the one who starts bombing the interview you're conducting? So I think that's like a passive-aggressive dig at me. Not really like passive.
No, it's not.
Okay, but no, it is a valid question, though. Oh, hey, my little cousins are watching. No more drug talk.
Oh, okay. Hi, it was jokes. It was just jokes.
It was jokes.
We're just joking.
It's hypothetical.
Yes.
But yeah, so. Oh, hey, Jen's there too. Wow, we got the whole.
Hi, Jen. Hey, thanks for the bread box. That was great.
Hey.
We love it.
Oh yeah, shouts out to Jenny K. They're a great little market. They're actually over in El Cerrito. It's a neighboring city to Springfield, where I work and conduct my interviews. And they're good friends of mine. So yeah,
do you know Homer and?
That was. I think that was the joke. Was like, it was kind of like a generic. It's like it's Springfield. That's
okay.
That's where
I
we're
got
at.
it.
So that's where now we're in LA. Jen says, haha, they were laughing. Kevin says, too late. So they're okay, but let's get back to Voltaic's question here, which, if it's ever happened to you, how do you walk things back on track when you're bombing the interview you're conducting?
Oh, man. I can't. I never bombed. I never had to worry about it. No, there were those tough ones where, like I say, I wasn't prepared and didn't have any good questions to continue with. So, you just go, hey, thanks for stopping by, man. It was so good to see you. It was great to have you in and say hello to all your fans and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And you get rid of them.
Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts on robot? Do you think robots are going to be like the interviewers of the future? Like, because didn't that kind of happen on radio? They automated everything. And do they do automated interviews?
Says the hologram to me. No, he's real, really. This guy's real, sitting right there.
Thank you. Thanks for validating my existence.
Robot interviews. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, do you think? Because just what I'm getting at is like how, because part of it was there was a lot of automation in the radio.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like I remember that growing up. That was like a thing.
But they didn't take over the human element of doing interviews.
Yeah, it's like the last thing that we have until we have an AI that can like pose as a human and conduct interviews.
Yeah.
Which I might be. I don't know.
Do any of us know what we are?
Yeah, good question.
We're just molecules bouncing off each other.
Jen wants to know best show you've ever been to.
Best show? That's too hard. Because there's been so many. Oh God. But, it would probably have to be a Bruce show. Springsteen, probably 1980-ish at Oakland Coliseum. And we were down on the floor seats. I don't know, about 20 rows back. But he came right to our row, and people were getting out of the way. And he was what was he singing? Probably 10th Avenue Freeze Out. And he was stepping on the chairs, and everybody got out of his way and let him walk. And he was right there.
Wow.
Yeah. That was one of the big ones.
Right on.
I've always loved seeing Elton John, and I don't know. I have to sit and think for a while. But
no problem. And now another question that Kevin has is. How does someone develop that deep, sexy radio voice that John has? Is there a pill for that? I don't know if there's a pill for it. Well, what you were saying was that they just hand it out at radio school.
Yeah.
So that
here's your voice. Yeah. Congratulations, you graduate. No.
Do they like do some kind of like? I don't know.
No, it's just lots of Jack Daniels.
Well, that's not a good.
No,
I'm
kidding.
Man. Come on.
I'm kidding. The kids are listening. It was a joke. What can you say? It's just what I have. I thought, hey, I could do something with this, and I did.
Yeah, it's funny you say the Jack Daniels thing though, because there's someone who I hope that I might at one point be able to get on my podcast, who's actually it's like a relative of a friend, and he's a voice actor. And I was watching an interview that he did, and they were asking how he does a lot of video game voices. And they were asking him how he has his voice so raspy and stuff for these things. And he says, whiskey and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Although I know now the guy doesn't drink. But you did a couple of it. You didn't do like a lot, but you did a couple of video game voices, I remember, at some point, didn't you?
Just a couple, yeah. And it was just stupid stuff. I mean, grunting and go get them, or I was like a background voice or something.
Okay, right
I don't even know what it was for.
Yeah.
God, 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, that was when I was like pretty young. I remember.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool because I had just gotten into video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, video games, man.
Yeah, we allowed you to do that.
You should have allowed me sooner. And quite frankly, there shouldn't have been a time limit on my screen time. Do you see how much fucking money these kids make nowadays playing video games competitively? Oh, no, Spencer, it's not good. Kids are dropping out of college
to play you got
video
so
games.
much time, and you had video games that were more mature than you should have been playing. So don't tell me that we held back on you.
I know.
Because you were right there, and
oh yeah, life.
But people go, oh, they waste so much time in video games. But I saw that it's very engaging, and
Strategic, yeah.
yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, we'd come home from school and watch TV. Nothing, no interaction with anything. Yeah, we go outside and play football a little bit, but you're spending a lot of time just watching stupid black and white sitcoms, and it's not doing anything for you, really. Well, maybe you pick up on some jokes here and there.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, I can see that playing video games was not harmful.
Right on.
That's all I had to say.
Message to parents out there: video games not harmful.
Not harmful.
And message to kids out there: if you want to play an M-rated game and your parents don't want to let you play it, well, first of all, the advantage to the game I had was Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and I was able to...
It was a mistake that she got that for you, because it had blood on it. But you could make the blood green, so it wasn't so bad.
or no blood. So I would say, no blood. But then, of course, when they're not around, all you have to do is turn the blood back on, and you're hacking and slashing and shooting these people and dinosaurs and monsters. And,
but it was monsters, so...
Yeah, it's okay. So it's okay to program the youths with violence.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, we had quite a few people in there in the chat for a minute. That was cool. Nice little family showed up. Mr. Voltaic Age. Is that Mo? I wonder if that's Mo. That might actually be the guy that I'm having on next week when I get back.
What does he do?
He
we'll give him a little preview here.
Well, actually, no. Hold on. Actually, maybe
Mo.
Yeah, I shouldn't. He's one of the stooges. He smacks his friends around all the time. There's goofy sound effects. No, he might. I don't know if he wants to do a character or be himself. So we'll figure out who he is next. But that's the thing with this one's kind of breaking the fourth wall. I mean, I'm just talking to you candidly about how.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any skits for this one, but I like.
Right.
So you remember the Larry Sanders Show?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to do with this eventually. Like once I have a little more time. And I get to hang this live shit a little more.
He's dead.
Oh, Gary Shandling? Yeah, R.I.P. Someone needs to fill.
You can't do that.
Someone
anymore.
needs to fill the shoes. No,
yes, that's right.
I'm saying like the podcast where some of them are real, some of them are kind of fictional characters on the podcast, but then there's skits and stuff that are taking place like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I originally had this idea. I wanted to do it with a podcast that I wouldn't be hosting, but I would be producing it. That way it would be a lot easier to just take care of everything. And I wanted to do it for a sports podcast. And the premise is like I'm the guy producing a sports podcast, and I fucking hate sports.
Yeah.
As you know from today.
Which you do.
Stupid fucking football games on. I was trying to finish watching
I never
them.
used to really give a crap that much.
What
but I've always been interested in football. I played a little bit of football, but I've always been interested in football. So I now, since I have a little more leisure time in the pandemic, and just in the last couple of years, anyway, you tend to watch the home teams, and now we have two. We have L.A. Chargers, L.A. Rams, and then I always check on. I got
the Las Vegas Raiders.
I always check in on the 49ers because I have nostalgic, reasons for that. Because when I was there, it was Joe Montana and Steve Young, and they were doing so great all the time, and it was just fun. So yeah. I like watching football. I do.
I don't.
I can see how it gets boring. You got to walk around.
I don't know. It's just always the same. It just doesn't excite me.
I know.
I even actually feel that way. I was excited about video games having these like esports, things. But even that, even watching video games, it's like, okay, but now I'm just watching But then, it's like, okay, there's some cool plays, there's some cool moments, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'd rather just be playing it myself. Like, I like shooting hoops with friends. I like, playing pool or playing poker, but I can't, like, watch any of that stuff, really. It doesn't excite me. Doesn't get me.
Ever made a 3-pointer?
Oh, yeah.
Swish right in?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
Did you see Obama do that yesterday? I think it was, somewhere.
No, I've seen him, like, way in the past, but...
he hit that shot, and he turns around and walks out, and somebody goes, "It's what I do."
Obama, dude, what a guy out there campaigning. Yeah, so this is going to be exciting election night. I'm not going to do this for the election. I think we'll just get drunk and yell at the TV.
Yeah, a couple people I've talked to in the last few days, like, they're just on pins and needles. I think we all are. It's like, first off, I just want it to be over. Everybody, you get so tired of election season and all that stuff. You just want it to be over.
Yeah, for real.
But you want it to be over the way you want it to be over. Yeah. and it's so, I can't believe that it's so uncertain, but it is, I guess. I don't know.
It is cool. I do have to say I have a lot of respect for the Republican Party, just in the fact that, like, such a significantly smaller percentage of people support them, but they've figured out ways to just
lie, cheat, and steal their way in.
Like, you guys realize eventually,
and that they say that about the other side.
Yeah, so, but it's obvious, and the thing is, they're eventually going to be so outnumbered.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. We've been wanting that bad for years.
Yeah, I know. We're getting hungry. No, I'm just this. Now I'm getting into creepy.
You are.
I don't want to. I don't want to talk about eating Mitch McConnell or anything like that. I don't,
turtle if prepared right, is not bad.
Turtle soup's good, but don't. Yeah,
turtle soup. Yeah.
Guys out there, I absolutely do not condone anyone eating Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, or any of those people. They're guys. They're just like the rest of us. They breathe oxygen. They sell their souls, and it's life, man. It's life.
QAnon would probably eat them.
QAnon would eat them?
I don't know.
To absorb,
I'm making it up. Why not?
To like absorb their energy, like absorb.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what ancient like cannibal cultures. That's what they would eat their. I think it was like in Brazil. It was like indigenous Brazilian culture that after they would defeat like an enemy tribe or an enemy, whatever, they would eat the warriors that they defeated to consume the strength of their energy. It was like a ritual thing. So we're just talking history here. We're not like we're not saying anything new.
Another reason to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting up there. We're getting right towards the end here, I think. I don't know if there's any last things you want to add.
I don't know. Let me see if I can come up with a way to wrap it all up.
Yeah, see, this is
when things are going south, how do you wrap it up?
For someone who misses K-Fog, this is Kevin in Springfield, California, Ellsworth, California. For someone who misses K-Fog, where do you recommend to go listen? So you don't know Bay Area stations, do you?
Do you not have a good collection at home that you can just make up your own playlists?
Spotify?
Of course, then, you want to find new music and things. There's KZAP.
KZAP, KZHP. Yeah, what's it? Oh, yeah, you were doing stuff with them for a while,
I can't even remember. What is KZAP.org? Look it up and listen to them. I don't know. They're,
K-zap.org.
Yeah, K-zap. There you go. .org. They're, even though I'm not doing anything with them anymore, I listen to them all the time because I like the mix. I like what they've set up there. And there are times, for those of us our age, might be a little, I don't need all that hard stuff, but it's okay. There's an amazing mix of music if you give it a long enough time, if you stick with it. And there's no commercials, so why not?
Yeah, right on. And then for me, I mean, I like listening to The Bone, 107.7 in the Bay Area. But that's, that's kind of what you were saying. It's like a lot of the same stuff.
Well, they're still just classic rock?
Yeah. And
they don't play any new music at all?
Yeah. It's like,
even from the classic rock artists?
Yeah, no, it's just like Metallica and shit like that.
Yeah.
There's too much Metallica, I would say. But then, they play some of the classics, obviously, so it's cool. But, yeah, it's not new stuff.
Yeah.
K-Fog back in the day, man. Fireworks, K-Fog, kaboom. Does John have a podcast where we can hear his silly, smooth voice? I think he meant to say silky smooth. He said silly smooth.
I'll work on the silly smooth. No, I don't. There you go. No. Should I?
Why not? I mean, weren't you at the forefront of podcasting? Like, isn't your email Podman? Like, or not? I don't want to call your email, but
yeah, right.
Your Podman was
a
like your
nickname
alias,
of
right?
Podman. Yeah. So let me see. Yeah, I guess it was around 2005. Stephen Page and he brought me in to work with him on. It was an experiment, and it was the CBS AM station in San Francisco that they were just running some finance programs on and things like that. Because there's just it's AM and it's probably not the strongest signal. So they thought, well, let's try this thing of broadcasting podcasting. And even at that time, 15 years ago, there were a lot of people putting together their own homegrown shows. And we had a whole variety of music shows, and then there was some talk stuff, and it was pretty interesting to do at the time. Of course, nobody was really hearing it, and it was on the internet too. We would plug that all the time. It used to be kyou.com or KYOU radio, but it's not there anymore. And that all just kind of folded after a while because they weren't going to, CBS was going to stick with it forever if they're not kind of making any money with it. So it's like, okay,
Yeah, because how do you make, that would be weird, I guess, figuring out who gets a cut. With how do advertising
right.
with
all
with
these people putting up their podcasts, and
so many different
you're making money off of it, and hey, I want some. Well, they should have some.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know.
I feel like that could still be a good idea, though.
Yeah, it was interesting at the time, but then again, that's telling people go to the radio to listen to a podcast when there are, podcast avenues these days, through iTunes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's still, like for example, my car, my auxiliary plug doesn't friggin' work, so I have to listen to either the radio or CDs. So I feel like there still could potentially be some kind of avenue for something like that. It's just they would have to figure out like the system of how people get paid, how people get fairly compensated for.
They don't want to pay people.
Yeah, well, they need a way of tracking, like, I don't know, the ratings. I don't know how they would track, like, a lot of people are listening at this time, and so. But then it's like too many heads.
I don't know. I can't see
cooks
it.
In the kitchen.
It would almost be like the way free-form radio began, in the sense that 1 hour you've got, Tibetan music, and the next hour is rock and roll. Next hour is blues, and then maybe there's an hour.
That's literally my playlist.
Yeah, so
Tibetan music, meditation.
So whatever, it used to be just so wide open, and never really garnered any big ratings.
Did you ever partake? Did you ever do pirate radio? Was that ever a thing you ever did?
No.
You never pirated?
There were times we dressed up in costumes and our matey.
Yeah, that's what I was really asking. I had a friend in Portland who was he was like, hey, we should start a pirate radio station. I'm like, I don't even know how to.
Yeah, and who would know about it, and why would they care?
Yeah, I think it's just more like the idea of doing
it's fun.
It's like you're hacking into a
it's
signal,
like
right?
college radio or something. Yeah. Like, hey, we're just doing whatever we want to do, but nobody's listening.
Kevin says, Patreon. I listen to podcasts, and there are ads. Yeah, people do read-ons, they have sponsorships, things like that.
Well, they didn't at the time we were doing the broadcasting podcast. I think they were all just raw shows, and we would, what you would say, repurpose for broadcasting. We had to listen to. Well, there were other staff members who would take the time to listen to full shows. They listened closely because people could say whatever they want. And the fact that we were putting it on the radio, on the air, and the FCC and all that, you would have to make sure that you caught all the shits and fucks that people were saying along the way. And yep. Yeah, it is weird. You would actually go into the audio file, grab that one little space where that word is coming out, and turn it backwards.
Ish.
Yeah. What the ish are you doing here?
That's the whole meme now. Like, look at that. Yeah, it's good ish. Yeah.
So that's what a lot of my job at the beginning was, doing that. These people would mark all these places. I would go through all the shows and turn everything around, and then maybe we would have some special little produced opening and closing for certain shows.
Yeah. Well, I actually learned that skill from you, because then I told this to Jada, one of the Trunk Boys, who was on my second podcast. Because he had a song, a lyric in Scraper Bike, which was the song that we did, that we turned in for our class, and the teacher already didn't like us for various reasons I don't need to get into, but there's a part of the song where he says, smashing downhill like I came from hike and pull a lesbo, get away from diking.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh shit, we can't have that in there, you know. And so I did your technique. I flipped it so it says pull a Club Zill. That's what it sounded like. And that was like an inside joke for a while. We always say Club Zill. We said, pull a Club Zill. Shout out to Jado. I had never told him that before until I told him on the podcast. He's like, how am I just now hearing about this? Because we were all worried that he was going to see it premiere at the Albany Film Festival. That's why we were doing it. It was for only that screening. We were worried he was going to get upset or something. I don't know. You're censoring my lyrics. But it's all good. Yeah. Cool. So we're at like almost an hour. We've been going for 55 minutes. Could you believe it?
Checks in the mail?
Checks in the mail. How much do you charge per hour for voice gigs?
Oh God! Well, it's usually per, like if you're working on a 60-second spot, you might charge $150. But for an hour on the air,
yeah.
Well, what's 60 times 150?
Whoa.
So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is great value right here.
Yes. Hey.
No, I have so many. I'm like so behind on cutting up clips, because that's the main way. This one I can monetize, but a lot of these I can't monetize them if I play like a song in it or a video, like we watch something.
Yeah.
Because then it's like someone else's advertising revenue. Mm-hmm. So I have to go through and cut out little clips of all. It's fun to do. It's like just going through it and reviewing, finding the best stuff, and then uploading it. And actually, I made like 68 cents off my first off hours and hours of work.
You're on your way.
I know. Just give me your 2 cents, and I'll have 70 cents. Mr. Castle hated 80% of everyone in the class. Very true. He was. I always wanted to do well in that. I always wanted him to like me, because he was like the video production teacher, and that's like what I was hella into.
Yeah.
But he did not like our group because Forrest said something very stupid in front of him. Forrest.
Oh, God.
It's a classic story at this point. I feel I need to stop bringing it up. Kevin says, great to see you, John. Thanks for doing this, Spen. Yeah.
Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks for everyone for commenting and tuning in. This was chill. Now I got to pack all this crap up and
get the hell out.
Have a little...
No.
I just got here.
Oh, that's right.
I'm on vacation. Now I can really enjoy my vacation. Now I don't have to worry about. I was even today. I was like, oh, should I postpone it? I don't feel like doing this. I was so tired today because last night we partied too hard.
I felt like that every day before going into work.
Yeah, I feel it, dude. It's like
every day.
But then once you're here,
then once
you're in it, it's cool. But same with stand-up comedy. Like I haven't done much of it lately, but I got back into doing a little bit of it when I first moved back to the Bay, and like. Yeah, even when it's like I have it all planned out, and like I know the jokes are funny, I'm still just like, but then once you're up there, it's all fun. Unless the crowd hates you.
Yeah. Which sometimes is the point of you being there, to try and make the crowd hate you.
That was my old shtick.
Oh, okay.
That's still kind of part of my shtick. Actually, I did read I did print out a whole
that was so bad.
Story.
You were so bad.
I know. Well, that
was
not
bad in a performance way, but bad. You were being a bad boy.
I know. I only wrote like 10% of that stuff, though. It was mostly a friend of mine who wrote it, and he was like daring me to go perform.
Well, that's not
an excuse.
That's a weak blame game
it's
right there.
It's not a blame game. I take responsibility. I performed it. I take responsibility for performing it.
My dog wrote it.
No, and he knew, he knew. But it was still that. But that's how it like was, because I never would have thought to just do stand-up. He was like, "Oh, Spencer, it would be really funny if you go to the show and read some of this shit." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And it ended up, it was fun. And I actually I'd be down to do it more once COVID reopened, once everything gets back to normal eventually.
Oh, 2025 is what you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess. Right in the beginning of Trump's third term.
Yeah.
Now show him Nardwuar. Yeah, oh no, I think I have shown Nardwuar before, but I'll definitely put on some Nardwuar after this. Cool. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, dudes. Dudettes, everyone. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon Russell.
Say hi to anybody who might remember me.
Any last words of wisdom for the people?
This is what's left of Jon Russell right here.
This is it.
No words of wisdom. Let me see. No, I don't have any words of wisdom.
Typical. All right, guys.
Mama, tell your children not to do what I have done.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Having said all that, thank you. And hey, be sure and come back. We do this every week. We try to at least. So yeah. Hey, it was nice. It was nice talking to you guys.